Hey everybody, this is Nerd Bomber here, one of the co-hosts of the Online Warriors podcast. Our weekly podcast started as a way for three friends to keep in touch and discuss their passion for movies, gaming, technology, and entertainment. And since then, we've grown into a fantastic online community. Every Wednesday, we release a new episode discussing the latest nerdy news, and then we go hands-on with our weekly adventures and a fun trivia show. Sound interesting? Check us out on every podcast platform, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or hit us up at onlinewarriorspodcast.com.
Hey there, this is John from Pint Comics.
And I'm Lloyd, also from Pint Comics.
And I'm the other John, and you get it by now. As you may know, we sometimes use language on this show that can be described as...
filthy.
Okay.
Reprehensible?
Crude?
Sure.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. We all know that it's just plain out gutter talk.
You've been warned. Listen in.
What are we doing?
That's the start of the recording. This is Pint Comics, and who are we? I'm Ganache. Who else do I got with me tonight?
I'm the Manster.
I'm Scary Larry Dwyer.
I'm some guy I'm Sir John.
I'm sorry, what?
He was trying to be all smooth and Billy D. Williams like.
I don't know what I'm saying. It's the Mountain Dew.
You've been watching too many Scottish films.
This is not a video podcast, but John, show these guys the size of the mug of Mountain Dew you're drinking at 10 o'clock at night.
Mountain Dew at night? Oh, my.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is a 32 ounce glass, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're going to be pissing straight fire later on.
I don't think I've had Mountain Dew in 20 years.
It's been a while for me too, but I need.
What about caffeine. Mellow Yellow?
Yes, I've had Mellow Yellow in the past year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mellow Yellow was the sponsor of Cole Trickle's race car, if you remember correctly.
I remember Dick Trickle.
In the 1990 Days of Thunder, starring Tom Cruise, Robert Duvall, and Nicole Kidman. And I've seen that movie like once, and I remember that it was Mellow Yellow, and his name was Cole Trickle. That's really about it.
You don't remember?
And that is not what we're here to talk about.
Roddy Burns was whatchamacallit? Oh, come on. Fucking Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, Michael Rooker?
Michael Rooker.
No,
yeah.
No memory.
I just saw him in that horrendous Fantasy Island remake.
Yeah.
You're the one that watched that? I saw someone watch that. Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
It looked bad.
Not a chance.
The best thing about it was Maggie Q.
I'm a fan. I like Maggie Q.
Yeah. That's about it. Everything else was pretty bad.
I want to give credit where credit's due.
Oh.
Our friends, I want to mention this too. Our friends over at the podcast, The Mobile Horror Companion, did an episode very recently where they were asking questions on Twitter and talking about the responses. And one of the questions was, what do you think are the best horror movie remakes? So they had people type in, this is my answer, that's my answer. I said, you know what? We got to do an episode. We got to have a little bit of a filler. Let's do that. We got Larry on anyway. Let's talk about the top 5 horror movie remakes in our eyes. The second thing I want to mention about the Mobile Horror Companion that I love is that in their intro music, they have a soundbite of John.
It's the best.
It's the best sound. John, have you heard it or no?
No.
You had them on the radio show a couple months ago. I wasn't on, and I think Mitch was with you.
Oh, okay.
Just in typical Sir John fashion, you call it the perfectly fine mobile horror companion, if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they actually use it.
Yeah, and they use it as a drop now. Like
it's
constantly.
A drop.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's this great, like they have their opening music is Satanic Panic 81 now, who do our music for the Scary Larry's Pint of Horrors. And Brian Birdsey, great guy, great musician. New album coming out very soon. We'll keep you updated on that. It's called Mara. But so you got this awesome track from Satanic Panic, and then you just hear Sir John, the perfectly fine mobile horror companion. If you're into that kind of thing, it's like even though you love them, you're giving them a little bit of a backhanded compliment, and
A little?
and well, not just, but what I like about it is it's like it's snarky, but they're using it. I like that.
Right.
They're owning
I don't
it.
even remember
They're
it.
owning it. Yeah. Yeah. Just maybe tonight, download one of their episodes. You're in the beginning of every single one now, except for like the
Oh,
last
boy.
5 episodes. So that's what we're going to talk about. What do we each
Mobile
think?
horror companion.
No.
Oh, that's right. They did that. I think they had that
Oh,
on
no.
the quarantine episode.
Yes. They've been doing it for a while now. Yeah. So I said to Larry, okay, that was a good idea for an episode. Let's do top 5 horror movie remakes. And amazingly, in the same day, within an hour, he said he was done. Larry has never been done with a list in less than 3-4 weeks, maybe. You know, I give him a list of 5. He starts with 367. We narrow it down to 104.
Oh my God.
How big is that list?
Yeah. Come on, look at this.
I'll tell you what, mine was pretty easy to make.
Yeah.
Mine was too.
Mine wasn't bad.
I
Mine
don't
wasn't
usually
bad.
go for horror remakes, so I just picked 5 that I could remember watching.
You had to like them though, right?
Well, yeah, I liked them.
I started with 15 that I liked.
Okay.
So I had 15 that I liked, and then just because I couldn't I did a list of ones that I liked, a list of the worst ones, a list of ones that I won't even bother watching, and then ones that I consider not a remake at all.
Okay.
I have 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got
Well,
5.
no, sorry. There's 8, but I'm only going to count the top 5. The others are just kind of like.
Yeah, we'll do 5. We'll stick
Okay.
with 5.
I've also got 4 of our Twitter friends, their lists, so we'll go over that at the very end. Let's start with Sir John. John, what would you say is, and again, like we do on lists, 2 through 5, whatever, but try to keep number 1 at your number 1.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, number 1 is pretty easy for me, but as far as
It's the Wicker. Number 1 is the Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage.
no,
Not the bees.
that poor piece of filmmaking doesn't come anywhere near this page. No, my first entry into this list, I will say basically any Dracula movie. So any one of the Dracula movies that's out there is a very good remake compared to the original.
Okay.
I see what you did with that.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It's because honestly, when you look at all the other Dracula films, which is really better than the other, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a personal opinion. But when you're looking at a remake, there's no strict remake of the original film.
No, you're right.
Right.
But all the Dracula movies.
Thankfully. I'll add thankfully.
So some of the rules I want to throw out there, like
Exactly.
I don't want to get into rules, but it doesn't have to be a strict remake. It has to be a remake, though. It can't be in the same line. And the other thing is how I was going to put this. You could love the remake and still love the original. This doesn't mean the remake is
It
better.
doesn't necessarily have to be better.
Right.
Trust me, I got a big surprise for Larry on the list. So
Oh, you said,
God.
you told me that the other day.
Oh, God.
big one.
So can you think of, is there any one Dracula movie you like above the rest, or you just?
Oh yeah, that would have been on the list. What was that? Our top favorite vampire movies.
Yeah.
Which I can't. You had a Hammer, right? It was a Hammer one. I can't remember which one.
the early from
Not
58,
Dracula AD. Not Dracula AD.
No.
Uh,
It's House of Dracula. Is that?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's
House
the
of
one.
Dracula and Dracula AD 72 were
Yeah.
on your top vampire list. Yeah.
Yeah, the early one would be the better one.
Yeah, I agree. I even love Coppola's other than fucking Keanu Reeves.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I could throw that on there easily, but
Yeah.
I didn't put Blackula on there.
Fuck, Blackula's great. I fucking love Blackula.
It is.
I've crossed oceans of time to be with you. I love Gary Oldman. That was the first
The
movie.
best.
That was the first movie that I ever discovered Gary Oldman. I didn't know who he was
Oh, really?
at that point. And that was like
Okay.
92, 93. And he had like basically I don't want to say the lead role. He had the title role in a huge movie. And here's a guy that like, he's not a huge actor, but he was so good in that whole beginning scene in Bram Stoker's Dracula, where it's him in that rad fucking muscle armor.
Yeah,
And
like burgundy.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah.
he
Sweet
stabs
armor.
the cross and it bleeds, and he's and then that whole battle scene with the puppets. That movie, That deserves a rewatch. I'm going to rewatch that. I haven't seen it.
It's a good movie. For me, my first Gary Oldman was Sid and Nancy. That was the first thing I ever saw.
Oh, okay.
Which was mid 80s. It was around there. But being a huge punk fan, of course, I watched.
What year was
Sid
True
and Nancy.
Romance?
92 or 3.
I think that's
Two or
the
three.
first one I remember. I guess between
Fucking
that and
Drexel,
Dracula.
man. How you must have thought it was White Boy
Must
Day.
have thought it was White Boy
It
Day.
ain't White Boy Day, is it? Nah, man, it ain't White Boy Day. It's that dude, Gary Oldman, for me, his versatility, whatever that fucking word is, it's off the
Versatility.
charts. That's the one.
Yeah.
Off the fucking charts, man. He really is.
He plays such a creepy character so well.
Yeah.
And there's a scene I've said this before, but there's a scene in Batman Begins where he plays Gordon, who's a good character. And it's right after Bruce Wayne's parents are killed, and Bruce Wayne is in Gordon's office as a uniformed police officer, and he's kneeling down, and I think he's got his jacket around him. And because it's Gary Oldman, you can't help but feel like this is menacing, but he's a good person. You know what I mean? Like, Gordon's a good person, but Gary Oldman has just always played such a fucking grease stain that you're like, okay, get away from the kid.
Yeah. So that's I'm with John. That's a good call. Dracula.
All right.
Dracula remakes are pretty much always solid.
All right, so John hits the Dracula remake. Lloyd, number 5, what do you got?
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna deflect. Well, my 5 is kind of like up in the air, and I did have Nosferatu the Vampire as a possible choice for 5. So I'm gonna just not go with that, and I'm gonna go with something really lame. It Chapter 1.
Well, you could go with Nosferatu.
Nah, he already said all the Dracula movies, so forget it.
Well, that's not a Dracula
we're
movie.
We're
That's
certainly
really
certainly gonna bounce off of each other.
It's based on Dracula.
There's no way we're not gonna have
Dracula story.
that movies that overlap.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few that are the same. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw Nosferatu on there.
All right, Nosferatu the Vampire.
No, you can't say that.
Oh, Lloyd,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you doing? So that was what, 1978 or something like that?
Yeah, 78, 79. Klaus Kinski. It was basically a remake of Nosferatu once they got the rights to the Dracula story. Really creepy. That was, I believe, in my top vampire movies as well.
It was, yeah. Never seen it.
Klaus is a
freaking
very
creepy.
strange and creepy German actor.
He absolutely is.
Yeah, that
Father
whole
of Natasha Kinski, who he likes
Cat
very,
People.
very much.
I am in
Cat People was a remake.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was.
Yes, it was. It's in my
be.
tops.
There could be 2 Kinskis in my list.
All right. I was always weirded out by like that Nosferatu long finger.
Oh yeah,
I'm scared of shit of that. So I've never seen.
Just very weird and
Super scary.
I will go. My number 5 is going to make Larry very angry because he hates this movie.
I don't
and he
like it
hates-
already.
He hates the star even more. The original was 1958. The remake was 1988.
Oh God. Fucking. All right,
The
go ahead.
Blob.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Fucking Kevin Dillon is the
Kevin
worst
Dillon.
human being.
I love that movie. I love
Kevin
it.
Dillon's the best.
Kevin Dillon.
No,
Kevin
his
Dillon.
brother is the best.
Yeah, Matt Dillon's awesome.
Brother's the best.
Dillon with a super hot mullet. Shawnee Smith, just
Super hot. Super hot.
super hot.
Yeah.
Great effects. Great practical effects in that movie. There's a scene where one of the guys in the hazmat suits, the blob, fills up the suit, eats him away, drops back down. He's a skull. Directed by Chuck Russell, who ended up making The Mask with Jim Carrey a couple years later, and the year before made Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors.
Yep. And,
And
little do
directed-
people know, the brother of Nipsey Russell.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
Oh, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah. And co-written by Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont, who made The Shawshank Redemption and
Mist.
The Mist, very Green Mile. So, and was kind of the creative force behind the first season or 2 of The Walking Dead. But no, I just love that movie. I've watched it a couple times over the last couple years. I think it's a great remake. And again, it's almost like it was the ending time going towards of practical effects where they were still heavy. Not the end. That happened in the 90s, but this was where it was still really happening a lot. And they actually just came out with a I think Scream Factory or Shout Factory came out with a 30th anniversary for that Blu-ray set that I got to pick up. because I enjoy that film.
Did you watch the original, The Blob?
The Blob, I could only say that I've definitely seen, but as a little kid, like the WPIX movie of the week. I remember Steve McQueen. I remember a drive-in theater, and that's really about it.
Yep.
That's the only one of my list that I can't speak to the original very well on, but I love the remake. All right, Larry, what do you got? What do you got at 5?
Well, first, I'll go ahead and blow your mind by telling you that The Blob is in my top remakes.
Oh, really?
Not in my top 5.
Okay.
But just like I can appreciate Dracula, even though Keanu Reeves is such a fucking knucklehead.
Right.
I can appreciate The Blob, even though Kevin Dillon is a fucking knucklehead.
I could have sworn at one point I was watching that movie, like maybe last Halloween time. We were text chatting, and I could have sworn I put down I'm watching the remake of The Blob, and I think your answer was fuck that movie.
Yeah, probably was. It probably was. Because I really hate Kevin Dillon that fucking much. I saw it in the theater and I haven't seen it since just because of him, but I still realize that it's a really good remake. It really is. But not my top 5. We'll start off with my 4 and 5 are so fucking close to each other. I'm going to go 5, 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake directed by Tom Savini.
Okay.
George Romero was heavily involved with it.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic.
Really?
Well, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Obviously, the effects are a fucking hell of a lot better. The makeup is a hell of a lot better than the original. Tony Todd. You know what? Fucking when people talk Tony Todd, they talk about Candyman. For my money, his best role is the remake of Night of the Living Dead. Him in that lead role of Ben, he does a great job. Tony Todd is great. And they take the Barbara character from Night of the Living Dead, and they upgrade her from this whimpering fucking pile of jelly into like a fucking tough as nails girl who fights through the
very
fucking
attractive.
film.
Good.
Yeah.
Tallman.
She was good looking, but it still remains really really closely tied to the original. It's not like some far off reimagining. Like I said, Romero was still involved. Savini had been involved in every Dead movie except for the original Night of the Living Dead. So he wanted to really get involved in something, so they let him direct it. And it's just I remember it got shit on when it first came out, but I think a lot of remakes just get shit on immediately.
Right.
And then it takes some time for people to realize, hey, that wasn't that bad. It was one I was lucky enough to see in the theater, and I fell in love with immediately. And you get Bill Moseley as Johnny at the beginning. They're coming to get you, Barbara. He plays that role. Yeah. Yeah.
Bill Moseley is actually in The Blob. He's the guy, I think, in the suit that gets killed.
No.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yep.
Never. Because like I said, I haven't seen it since the theater. I have no fucking idea.
I think he's the guy I was talking about that gets the suit job filled up and boned out.
That's funny. That's fucking funny. But so for me, my number 5 would be 1990 Night of the Living Dead.
All right. John, number 4.
Night of the Living Dead.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I remember when it came out. I didn't see it in the theater. I remember when it came out, though, and people were hacking it to pieces because it's a remake of a classic and shouldn't be done.
In color.
Yeah, it was in color, which I thought would be a drawback, too, because the original, that black and white really, really works for it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I watched it. I was like, that was great. What are people complaining about? It was good on so many levels, and I've never forgotten that. You always take it for what it's worth after the fact, rather than shoot it down beforehand. Speaking
of the original, have any of you seen Criterion's 4K restoration of Night of the Living Dead?
No,
I have it. I haven't watched it yet, though.
You are going to be blown the fuck away.
Yeah, maybe
by
tonight.
What they can do, what they were able to do with a black and white fucking 50-something-year-old movie.
All right,
it's gorgeous. It is amazing. I couldn't believe it.
I don't have a 4K TV. I got to get a 4K.
You don't need it. That's just the restoration they did. It's a regular Blu-ray. But it's just it's bananas. It really is.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, I would give it a watch, definitely.
I know if anybody out there is interested, I have not seen that one myself, but I'm fairly certain it's on Tubi, the internet streaming. I know that one night I was going to
The
watch.
remake, you mean?
The remake, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to watch it one night. That was a couple months ago, so it could be gone by now. That's how these things work. They cycle stuff
they
out.
circulate a lot.
But it was on, so if you want to check it out, check Tubi and just look for it. All right, Manster, what do you have for
All
number
right,
4?
I'm just going to keep the theme going and go with 2004's Dawn of the Dead.
Nice.
Ving Rhames. I haven't watched any of these movies except for one in a long time. So I can't really speak to this one a whole lot, but I just remember liking it. It's the one in the mall. Ving Rhames and
was that Omar Epps or Mekhi Phifer?
Mekhi Phifer.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people.
I'll chime in here too because I'm next. It's my number 4, Dawn of the Dead. Zack Snyder's first film. I think probably his best film. I know people love 300 and his Men of Steel, all that shit. I think this is the best thing he did. It's a remake of a movie that takes place in a universe, kind of. So I mean, there's multiple of the Dead movies, but this is just about this one. New characters. Who's the girl? Sarah Polley.
Yeah, Sarah Polley.
Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, Mekhi Phifer, and great. We talked about this, Lloyd, on the episode we did with Kurt Spieler. The credit sequence.
Down with the sickness.
No,
not that.
The man comes around, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
That's the opening credits.
Credits.
The end credits.
End credits is Down with the Sickness,
which are awesome too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both the opening and end credits to that are better than the movie itself. Ooh.
Oh, you don't like the movie?
I don't mind it. It's like Lloyd's like, hold the fuck on. It's we're on time. Lloyd put us on timeout. We're in trouble. We're all in big trouble.
No, I have to just step out for a minute.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to do it discreetly, but
we just did you, so we'll move along and we'll get back to you. All right. So yeah, Dawn of the Dead, 2004, original 1978. But I didn't
hate it. I'm not shitting on it. I just have a problem with fast zombies. That's
okay.
I have a problem. I have a who was it? What's his name? Simon Pegg.
Yep.
Had the best answer to the fast zombies question. He said death isn't an energy drink. I was like, that's true. Why would you get
energy drink?
Death is not an energy drink.
Oh yeah, right.
So why would you get fast all of a sudden if you're dead?
Were you okay with it in 28 Days Later where they were not zombies? Okay, yeah, exactly, right.
No,
okay,
they're not zombies. I love 28 Days Later.
Yeah, great movie. John does not. Oh boy, John doesn't like 28 Days Later.
I did not like that.
Let me put this on the list.
Yeah, the list. It's a scroll.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Chocolate cake, babies, free money, finding free money on the sidewalk. What are you writing down? Oh, things that John hates.
Yeah.
I've only got about another 4 hours.
Loser left money on the sidewalk.
All right, Sir John, number 3, your number 3.
My number 3. Well, we talked about this in a previous episode too, and that would be Fright Night.
2011, right?
Yeah, the remake. I really like the remake. It's again, here's one where it doesn't surpass the original in any way, but it's just as good. It's similar, but it's not the same. They did a really good job reimagining the plot line and the story and getting good performances out of the people. I mean, Anton Yelchin, man, we could have gotten something great out of him if he had been able to not get crushed by a Jeep.
Yeah, so, really sad.
Yeah,
really sad. I want to point out that when you said that it was as good as the original, Larry made a face that I would say as a kid is someone slamming his dick in a car door a couple times. Larry, you don't agree with Fright Night being
I've never Fright Night is on my list of ones that I won't watch. Maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll watch it.
It is good. I'm a fan too.
The first Fright Night is one of my favorite movies of ever in horror. Even though it's kind of comedy, I fucking love Fright Night.
I think
the wrong arm. Yeah,
wrong arm.
Obviously, I love Fright Night.
And trust me, it was not easy for me to watch because I really like the original. It's just how do you beat just the framework of that movie and the just the feel of it, because it's a comedy on top of everything else, and then you got Roddy McDowell and it's just so good.
Yeah.
This version of the film, I mean, while it's a little slow in the beginning, by the time you get to the middle of the movie, you're pretty dialed in. And
I'll give it a whirl. I will.
Yeah.
I will give it a whirl.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one myself.
When I came out of the end of it, I was like, why haven't they fast tracked a sequel to this yet? Not now there isn't going to be one, but it is good. It really is.
Yeah.
David Tennant is really good, I think, in the Roddy McDowall role in a different form.
Yep.
He's not a television star. He's like a Chris Angel type magician douchebag. And Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell I like Colin Farrell. He's just not always in great stuff. Larry, I got a question. Did I skip you on the last one? I totally did.
I was going to say, what was Larry's number 4?
I skipped him.
Nobody knows, Lloyd. Nobody knows except for me.
We will go. So we're in 3 now. We never got to your 4. Let's hop back to Larry for 4.
Okay.
I apologize, Larry.
No, that's okay. This was the one that I couldn't figure out whether I was going to go this or Night of the Living Dead, because I like them both pretty equally. But I'm going to say 2006's Hills Have Eyes remake.
Yes.
Yeah, I really thought that. Now the original Hills Have Eyes is creepy as fuck.
I've never seen the original.
It's still creepy. Still creepy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, really, really, really creepy. They made a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
When they sat down to reimagine this, they said, let's take these creepy fucking radiation, filled fuckers and make them really scary, really grotesque looking and really rapey.
They made it more of a family than the original.
Yeah.
They even had a house.
They had a house.
Yeah, original just lived in the rocks.
Right, they had them in the rocks. This you got a lot more of a look at like kind of their everyday life living in. They lived in the test center, like where they tested the nuclear weapons and shit. The fake towns. They've still got all like the fake mannequins like up everywhere, like fucking burnt.
Yeah,
and
they had that grotesque. Who was that character? Grandfather, uncle.
They were all fucking grotesque. The one with the giant fucking head and the wheelchair. They were all fucking nasty.
They did a really good job of duplicating the original, but making it more up to date and modern.
Yep.
But keeping really the whole sensibility of the first one.
Right. And it's one I've always really enjoyed. So that's definitely in there. So that was my number 4.
I rewatched that not too long ago, and the scene has one of John's favorite actors, Ted Levine, plays the father.
It's great.
The scene where they crucify and burn him to death is a nightmare. The true nightmare scene in that whole movie is you said rapey, is the young mother in the trailer.
Yep.
That whole bit is so uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
And then, spoiler alert, they kill her. Like you don't think you almost think she's going to survive this, and that's going to be her motivation to be like, go hero girl, and she fucking gets killed. Yeah, and then the lead, I can't think of the actor's name. He played Pyro in the X-Men movies, but he's like the pushed upon kind of husband, and he becomes like a fucking action machine.
Yeah.
The one thing that movie does that I don't like in horror movies like that is at the end of the movie, they actually win. Like they kill everybody and they get away. And the very last scene is like someone watching them. And you just have to go to the next level and say, well, they're not going to make it. Every once in a while, I just want them to make it. You know what I mean? Like after all the shit, and they had a baby with them, I just wanted them to get out. Another movie.
Food.
The baby's food.
Yeah.
So sometimes movies, what was another one that did that? It might end up on a list. The Crazies.
Yep.
Yeah, the Crazies.
It ends where you think, okay, everything's okay. And
the helicopters, like
the helicopters. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, man, we just went through this for 2 hours and now it's pointless. But
see, that differs from the original, the 1977, because that movie ends just like a Universal horror movie. The freaking credits literally drop down over. The guy smashes the other guy's head with a rock. He's done. The movie's over.
Yeah,
they win. There's no possibility for
now.
All right, we're out of money.
Yeah, hits him with a rock. They're like, Wes, what do you want to do next? Drop the fucking credits.
Yeah,
okay, credits.
You ever see Frankenstein? We're gonna do this Universal style. End it.
Yep.
All right. So that was Larry's 4.
Yep.
Got John's 3. Lloyd, you're 3.
3. Well, I watched a movie today. I watched an original movie because it was free streaming when I really wanted to watch the remake. It was called The Hills Have Eyes. So that's my number 3.
All right.
I just watched the original right before this podcast.
Nice.
And I remember the bits from the remake, but the original, I loved it, and I love the remake as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then my number 3 is original was made in 74. The remake was in 2003, and they are definitely starkly different in production values. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like a grindhouse snuff movie. It feels so like Larry showed it a few years ago, and it's just I saw it too young with friends, and I've seen it many times, and I never can get that feeling away that I'm watching something that I probably shouldn't be watching. You know, the 2003 movie is a Michael Bay production. It's directed by Marcus Nispel, who ended up making the Friday the 13th remake and the Conan the Barbarian remake. This guy makes all these glossy movies.
Ugh.
But I still think with the story tweaks and everything, this movie's got some stuff going for it. There's some pretty fucking good gore in it. There's some good atmosphere to it. And I've said this before. I was talking to Matt Wilson at a Cult Classics show about movies one time. I still think Jessica Biel in that movie may be the hottest chick in a movie ever, with those jeans and that tank top that just degrades through the whole movie. There's just something else. But
You looked incredibly good in that.
yeah, like she just gets sweatier and sweatier and sweatier. I just like that remake. And like I said, there was some really good gore moments. There were some good scares. And I think they got the heart of the original down, but obviously made it in a much more, glitzy multi-million-dollar budget. And John Larroquette narrates that one too.
This is the one with Arlie Emery, right?
Yes, Arlie Ermy is like the sheriff.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, basically he's the fucking drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket, but as a sheriff.
Oh, but that's what he did everywhere.
True.
Yeah,
True.
He did that everywhere.
It's his gig.
All right, Larry, you're number 3.
My number 3 is a remake of a 55, I don't know. Remake of a 1950s movie. The remake came out in 1978, starring Donald Sutherland. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I knew it.
That's that. I get chills right now just thinking about the ending scene where he's pointing and then that fucking sound comes out of his mouth. And you're like, fuck, because you just like you said, you think it's over, and then they're nope. He's he's a problem. Donald's a problem right now. That was one I saw at a young age. That was one my father made me watch. I think it was the first time he'd seen it. He loved the original.
Yeah.
And he loved Donald Sutherland. So he's like, let's watch this. And I was okay.
The original was Kevin McCarthy. What was his name? McCarthy?
I don't remember.
Kevin McCarthy.
Okay. That sounds right.
Yeah.
There was a really bad one made in the 90s.
I heard.
Terrible. I saw it in the theaters. I was like, what the fuck? This is garbage.
It's just called Body Snatchers, right? Or something?
I think so. Or Invasion, maybe. Or
Invasion.
Well, there were a few of them, but Invasion. There was one with, what the hell's her name? The porn actress.
Marilyn Chambers, Tracy Lords.
Tracy Lords.
Oh, okay. Didn't Toby Hooper make one?
He
Probably.
might have.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Right?
The Body Snatcher thing is like, it's almost like as ubiquitous as Dracula.
Yeah, it's sci-fi fucking. It's every piece of sci-fi from 100 years ago has had aliens coming to Earth and inhabiting bodies. Like the Body Snatchers thing has been around forever. But for my money, the '78 version is one of the best.
I've only seen that once. I remember seeing it when I was, I think, in my teenage years, and it was on like WPIX one Sunday.
Yep.
But I will never forget the end. Because it's also a meme. You see it all the time. But like Donald Sutherland just pointing with that awful like fucking gape in his mouth.
Yeah. It's I watched it maybe last year, and it's a little slower now. I think everything from the 60s, 70s
movie,
is slower, but it's still so well done. It doesn't matter. Just like Wicker Man is slow, but Wicker Man's well done.
Right.
I don't think there was any time any of you guys were going to tap out of the Wicker Man, right? Like it kept you interested. And it's the same thing with Body Snatchers. Yeah, it might be slower because they focused more on story back in the 70s, but it's right there, and it keeps you going.
I read a review online the other day, like 2 days ago on Twitter. Some other podcaster, someone put up a review of Alien, and I read it and I realized it was someone in their like teens or 20s that had never seen it before.
Yeah.
And their first complaint was like, nothing happens in this movie. It's like, fuck, man, that's like the definition
nothing
of
except for fucking dread happens in this movie.
Yeah. From moment one, you're just building up the dread. And I'm okay with stuff like that. As long as at the end you get me somewhere, I'm cool with that.
Yep.
All right.
And that's exactly what Alien does. It gets you there at the end.
All right, Sir John, I think we're at numero dos. Number 2. Oh, is this the one that's going to blow Larry's mind?
Oh, come on. Where are we going?
So a long time ago, I think it was like 3 years ago. And
if you say like the Black Christmas remake, I'm fucking leaving. I'm just gonna fucking leave.
Nope. I made a comment about a particular movie, I think on the radio show, and Larry was yelling at me through the glass at that point. So I recently watched a remake of I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh,
it's on my list,
and I liked it so much more than the original because I hate that movie so much.
Oh, God.
And I figured I'm gonna do this to Larry.
God help us.
That is nothing but revenge porn, pure and simple.
Exactly. And then I watched the sequel.
Yeah. Oh, there's like 4 of them.
First
I like
of
the
all,
sequel better.
Oh, geez.
The VHS cover for I Spit on Your Grave is one of the best VHS covers of all time.
Girl in white with her ass cheek
with
hanging
her ass
out.
cheeks hanging out.
Yeah.
No, the imagery of that poster or that cover or whatever, it was good, but man, that movie didn't hold up to that poster.
3 years ago, when we talked about this on the radio show, the first episode we ever had Larry on, barely knew him, just had him on, Cult Classics guy. I titled the podcast after it. He, in all seriousness, said, "I celebrate I Spit on Your Grave."
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the guy we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about horror movies, and somehow it's like, well, so what do you think about, like, I don't know, maybe Last House on the Left, I Spit on Your Grave. I celebrate I Spit on Your Grave.
I still do. Originally titled Day of the Woman.
Day of the Woman?
Day of the Woman, because she gets her revenge. It's a revenge film. That Last House on the Left, these are revenge films. The remake for I Spit on Your Grave is on my list of remakes that I won't ever watch.
Oh, okay. All right. Lloyd, what do you have for your number 2?
Number 2. Wow, we're getting down to it.
We are. The nitty gritty.
I am going to go with a 1982 film called The Thing.
Yeah.
Solid.
Which is a remake of 1951, The Thing from Outer Space.
Mm-hmm.
Which I never really liked that film, the original. Not a big fan.
Yeah, it's okay.
But as you know, I love The Thing.
Yeah.
And, talk about the sense of dread and isolation and, grotesque body stuff. It hits every level of what you want in a horror movie.
I keep meaning to watch it because it's like the COVID thing we're going through right now.
Yeah.
It's essentially like there's a line in The Thing that I've thought about so many times, and it's such a dumb fucking line, but it's the scientist who ends up burning himself. He says, "We should all start preparing our own meals and eating from cans."
Right.
It fits into what's happening right now. You know what I mean?
And I'm also going to give a nod to the 2011 version, The Thing.
The prequel. It's very.
Prequel.
I think it's very good.
Not a remake.
Not a remake.
Not a remake. I'm just giving a shout out.
It deserves a shout out. That movie deserves
it was on cable today.
Oh,
I was just flipping around, and I said to Jen, I was like, "Holy shit, I haven't seen this on TV. I don't think ever, just like on a fucking cable channel."
Right.
Yeah.
And I had it on for a bit, and I said to Jen, who just, God bless her, just humors me constantly because she doesn't give a fuck about what I'm saying when I'm talking about horror films. I'm just like, this movie was just incorrectly shit upon when it came out. It's not now, if it was a remake, I would have had a problem with it. but because you're all right, this is going to sound bad, because if it was a remake, you're jamming a female into a male lead just to make a statement, probably, is
Right.
what I would think. But this is a prequel. It's clearly a prequel, and as a prequel with its own story, I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Is it as good? Is it as good as The Thing? No, but it's not awful.
For a movie, and they do this often with movies, for a movie that essentially fills the role of filling in gaps to another movie, it's as good as you can get.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't need that. You look, The Thing 82 could have come out and never had the prequel, fine. But if you're going to make the prequel, put the effort into it, put the attention to detail, the Norwegian, the axe in the door, everything.
Right.
And just make it a good story. And that's what it was.
Right.
It's
It's too heavy with the CGI. It's too heavy, especially,
a little bit. But there were practical effects as well.
There were, but The Thing is obviously 82 all practical effects. And being that this was a newer film, there's definitely some CGI and it shows. But still, I did enjoy it. One thing I've never done to this day is watch them back to back in that order, the 2012 or whatever the fuck.
I might do that. I might do that.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want to watch them back to back because I did enjoy it. It's a good call.
And I want to defend you, Larry.
Thank you.
Against your wife, Jen. I know you said she doesn't humor you, but I learned very recently that Jen eats salads dry.
Dry as fucking bone.
He has no argument against anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not a lick of dressing ever.
Okay.
Ever. It's just a bowl of fucking grass. It's like,
yeah.
It's as if it's, you know what it's like? It's like if I left the window open while I was mowing the lawn and all the clippings had just flown into her bowl.
Mouth.
And like a tomato fell in just to make it a salad. Yeah.
No, she'll never.
She could be the lawnmower man.
She'll never eat a tomato.
Like the book, not the movie.
Yeah, you're not getting a tomato anywhere near her fucking salad. Not gonna happen.
All right.
It's lettuce, cucumbers, and fucking craisins.
Okay. All right.
Whatever. Craisins. No dressing.
That was Lloyd's, right?
Yeah. So it's your number 2, John.
All right. My number 2, I'm going to flip it around and original 1958.
You
remake
took my one.
1986.
You took my number 1.
Jeff Goldblum, David Cronenberg, The Fly. Terrifying bodily horror.
Mm-hmm.
Is so fucking gross.
Grotesque.
He barfs on a guy's arm at one point.
It's
so great.
He gives him the guy's got one of these afterwards. There's a scene at the end where the guy's got a cane and his little barbecue chicken hand.
Yeah.
It's so fucking gross.
Yeah.
His little rotisserie.
The look on his face as he vomits on him. It's just like, it just comes out. Remember the first time he ate the donut?
Oh,
it just comes right out.
He doesn't know what's happening. John, are you a fan of this one or no?
Yeah, it's on my also ran list.
Okay, all right.
Now, did you all see The Fly, the 58 version?
Long time ago.
That's a good movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of a mystery.
Help me!
Yeah. That's what I remember the most about that was that ending. Help me.
Now, it starts off as more of a mystery, like a guy's crushed under a press and then trying to figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to watch that again.
Yeah, it's a good one.
A good movie.
And that one is very 50s in the fact that the 86 version is he's becoming a mutant. He's a mutant fly. And in the 58 version, it's like a fly with a lab.
He's a man with a fly suit on.
He's like a fly with a fucking lab suit. Hey there. Just mixing some potions.
Hello.
Would you like a spot of tea? I'm going to vomit on mine. But Cronenberg. And that is going to be whenever this COVID shit ends up. We're not going to give a date right now, but that will be the return film of Connecticut cult classics, right, Larry?
Sure will at some point somewhere.
Yeah.
Some fucking yeah. I don't know when.
June, maybe August. Who knows?
I had June, but June's looking a little fucking crazy. So
well, you know what, guys? I'm gonna just say it right here and right now. I heard from a friend of mine: drink a little bleach, get a little sunlight, maybe some ultraviolet through the skin,
shove it up your ass.
Through the skin. Tremendous. You'll be okay.
Yes.
All right.
Only the best bleach. The best bleach.
Only the best. Yeah. Get yourself a medical doctor.
Yeah.
And we'll start working on this.
Yep.
All right, Larry, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is a 1986 film called The Fly.
Okay. All right.
Directed by David Cronenberg.
Did that have a guy with a barbecue chicken hand?
I had a guy.
Okay, yeah.
There was a donut and then a barbecue chicken hand.
Isn't his? There's a scene where his dick's in a jar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
love
there's
it
like
when she rips his jaw off.
yeah.
Mm.
Won the Academy Award for Best Makeup, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Chris Wallace, I think the guy's name was.
Yeah, Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls, yeah.
Biggie
Yeah.
Smalls. as we
big
call
deal.
him. As we call him in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very good Jeff Goldberg.
Yes, I love Jeff Goldberg.
Jeff Goldberg.
Goldblum vehicle there.
Yep.
Jeff
Yep.
Goldberg.
Be afraid. Be
And when
scared. Be very scared.
Yeah.
Gina Davis. I mean, did she ever have anything but like that bushy, curly, afro-y hair?
She grew it out.
Yeah.
Eventually. In the 80s,
Yeah.
she always had that hair, but she
Yeah.
grew it out eventually. Yeah. World Championship Archer. Did you know that about her?
No, I
I'm
didn't.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. She's like, I think she either almost qualified for the Olympics like in the late 90s, but she got heavily into archery at one point. She was on Letterman one time and she hit like fucking bullseyes left and right.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Gina Davis. And they got married in real life. It didn't last.
Right. Yeah.
Goldberg and Davis.
Guess he was really
that old
jealous.
Hollywood
Right?
couple. What's that?
He was really jealous of her.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she made Cutthroat Island. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
She made quick change.
Gina.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Gina, I can't do it.
I don't think.
Yeah. I really wanted to be in Quick Change with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Wasn't a crazy ass Randy Quaid in that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All
And
right.
so was Steel from Dawn of the Dead. I mean Day of the Dead.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was the gangster Mario, the one
Oh, that's
okay.
right.
the one
yeah.
that they chased him onto the bus and everything.
Yeah.
The big fucking guy, the collector.
Okay.
That was,
Quick
All right.
change.
Did we do everybody's number 2? Right, we did.
Yep. We're on
So,
number ones.
John, number 1.
boom, boom, boom.
So there was this movie in what was it, 1978? Dealt with these aliens coming to the planet and is it Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
All right. All right. I think our
It's,
numbers ones will be pretty quick, but
That's my number one. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I
All
still think the original is a film to be recognized for the greatness that it is,
Mm-hmm.
but the remake, strangely enough, I think is slightly superior.
I'd agree. I would agree. Plus
I'm gonna
Donald
watch that.
Sutherland. You got
Plus
Donald Sutherland.
yeah.
And you don't have to look at his ass like you do in fucking Animal House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Leonard Nimoy's in it. So
Yeah, that's not a guy built for nude scenes, that's for sure. Yeah.
Right.
No, not at all.
Hey, Larry.
Would you guys like to smoke a little pot? What hi, Lloyd.
Which Hills Have Eyes do you like better, the original or the remake?
The original.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the first one I saw. So it always seems like the first one you see is kind of, which is why I don't
the
shit.
better.
Which is why I don't shit on like younger kids who like Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Mhm.
If you're younger and that's the first one you saw, okay, I'm not gonna shit on you.
Right.
For me, the first one I saw was the original. So that's, and same thing with first one I saw, Body Snatchers, was the 78. So that's my favorite.
All right.
I think it goes with the first one you saw.
Master, number 1.
My number one is The Fly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just do this real quick then. My number 1 was a movie, 1982, Kurt Russell, The Thing. Oh, Larry.
Mm.
Hi.
Bring us down, Larry. What's your number 1?
My number one was Nicolas Cage and The Wicker Man.
Oh,
Nice.
No, that's not true. It's Rob Zombie's Halloween.
no, it's
that's
not.
That's not true either. That's one of my least favorites of all time. My number one is a 1982 film starring Kurt Russell called The Thing.
Wow.
Keith
Because-
David or David Keith?
It's one of them. I never
Yeah.
fucking remember.
Keith David.
But here's the thing: we're talking about best horror remakes. You can make an argument of The Thing as the best horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
The argument's completely valid. You can argue that all day alongside fucking The Exorcist or The Shining or whatever you want to call it, The Halloween, or even back further, whatever you want to call the best horror film of all time, you can make a valid argument for The Thing.
Yeah, I agree. I will say this, that
You forgot the mustard.
so many people.
Yeah, Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
Oh, that's Invisible Man.
Oh, that's right.
Hey,
That's right.
hey, you know one thing in common between The Thing and The Fly is the computer that you just type a question, it gives you an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
true.
How long before this will spread all across? 3 days. It's like, what the fuck?
That computer's great.
No, I was going to say, though, for horror movies, period, after you showed it Christmas time, and I had not seen it in many years.
Oh, Black Christmas.
No, Black Christmas was great.
Great movie.
Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. That's still remains a movie that, like, I just don't really want to ever toss in. It's so fucking dreadful and disturbing and, like, ugh. Those little quick images of the demon's face they pop in there.
Mhm.
Like, what a brilliant movie. What a brilliant fucking movie.
It really is.
Scary as shit, too.
Yeah. Yeah. So scary.
Let's wait for the remake. I'm sure it'll happen.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. You know, they've never touched that one because that's one of the ones that's like God tier. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I almost feel like they're like, we can't touch that.
Let's just do a sequel and then redo the sequel completely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Before we get to Larry's kind of like never want to watch list or
Yeah, we got a
worst.
couple extras, too.
Yeah. I just want to real quick read off some of our friends out there.
Oh, yeah.
Their
Definitely.
list. So I'm going to start with, let's see, a podcast called Pop Cannon, Kannon.
Oh, like the Mexican wrestler from the WCW.
Oh, is it really?
There was way back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At Pop Cannon, and this is the list they gave. They're number one. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it because
You don't want to go 5-1?
I'll go 5-1.
Yeah.
I'll go 5-1.
Yeah.
Number 5, 2008's Quarantine, a remake of Wreck.
It's
Which
on
is
my
a
list.
movie.
It's on my my also rans.
Yeah,
All right.
it's on my also ran.
Yep.
2004's Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
2006's The Hills Have Eyes. Larry just mentioned it. 2009, the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Oh no.
And I think there's going to be an asterisk here.
I don't know. I don't want to hear the number one. I
Yeah,
don't want
we're
to hear.
done.
They're
You know what it
disqualified. No, because the Rob Zombie thing is just disqualification.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Might have been the first one he saw.
I think, and this is on several lists, but I think this is not a remake. 2013's Evil Dead.
Hold on.
Well,
What does this say?
Not a remake. Evil
Not
Dead. Yeah.
a remake.
Yeah.
It's clearly a sequel.
Yeah.
Ash's Delta 77 is fucking sitting out in front of the fucking cabin. You know,
Yeah.
and why would his car be there?
Right.
Why would his car be there?
Right.
It's not the same characters. None of them are named the same. It's a fucking sequel.
I agree.
sequel with the same name.
That's why it did not end up on my list because I love that movie. I think
Me
it's
too. I adore
so
that.
gory. So
Yeah.
fucking gory. All right. So Keith Larson from the Charlton movie, our buddy at Sleepless Night. Keith gave us The Ring, the 2002. John didn't care for that one. I thought that was a good movie. Invasion of the Body Snatcher, 78.
Yeah.
Evil Dead, again, another Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And then he echoes quite a few of us. Number 2, The Fly. Number 1, The Thing. And then I just did the two guys from Forgotten Cinema, our buddies at Forgotten Cinema, another great podcast. 2 mics, Butler and Field. Butler, number 5, Dawn of the Dead. Number 4, The Thing. Number 3, Fright Night, 2011. Number 2, and I saw this on multiple lists, so this is a question as well, Larry.
Okay.
Evil Dead 2. Is that a remake of
Oh.
Evil Dead 1?
I don't consider it.
I don't think it is either, but a lot of people think it is. Like, they think it's a big budget. Like, we got a budget now. Let's make the same movie focusing on one character. I think it's a sequel, but
How? So you're telling me that you think? I'm just asking.
yeah.
You think that after the events of Evil Dead 1, Ash decided to get some more friends and go back to that cabin?
It's Ash. It's Ash.
Because he
I
seemed
consider that a remake.
he seemed pretty surprised by the events that were happening.
Okay. All right.
It
So
wasn't like
you would categorize it as a remake.
I would categorize it as Sam Raimi finally had money and decided to make the movie that he wanted to make from the beginning.
Okay. So he gets Mike Butler gets qualified for that at number 2, but then his number 1 answer is Evil Dead 2013. So toss right back out again.
That's it.
And then his podcasting partner, Mike Field, gave us The Blob 88 at number 5. Let Me In 2010, remake of Let the Right One In.
Never mind.
Never seen that one. I've seen Let the Right One In. You disagree?
Yes, wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly. Okay.
Yeah.
Lloyd?
The whole bottom half of my screen is like.
Number 3, Invasion of the Body Snatchers 78.
Yeah.
And then again, The Fly, The Thing. So, all right. So let's go through a couple of you guys. Let's start with Lloyd. What do you have for a couple of also rans?
My also rans were I Spit on Your Grave, The Crazies, and I have there.
I finally get to see the face.
Yeah, that'll be it.
That's
I'll
it?
leave the other ones off. Yeah.
I do like The Crazies. I've never seen the original.
I saw the original too, so
Okay.
I don't
pretty
remember
good.
the original.
It's very similar.
I don't
It is
remember
very
it at
similar.
all, so.
It's good.
So John, what do you got?
Huh? What?
What do you got
It's
for
more
some,
military. The original is more military, and the new
Okay.
one is more of the.
All my also rans were already mentioned, so it's The Fly, The Blob, and Quarantine.
Nice.
Or,
Quarantine was damn good, man.
Quarantine is really good.
Damn good. They
Really
did a good
good.
job. Have you ever seen Wreck, the
No.
original? It's good. It's good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
I've seen Quarantine, and I just get bored of it after a while.
Do you really?
Yeah.
All
I can
right.
see that. I can see
Okay.
that. But I look at it, I enjoyed it for the remake that it is, which is why it didn't quite hit my top list, because it's like, it's a good film, but
Right.
Yeah.
Jennifer Carpenter plays Scared really well. Like that
she
whole
does.
last scene in that lab with that weird fucking thing walking around. It's tense. That's very tense.
She was in that Possession movie, right?
The Exorcism of Emily
Yeah,
Rose.
she was good, man.
Yeah.
Not the greatest movie, but she was was solid in that movie.
she pulled off. Well, one, she's skinny as hell, so
Yeah.
Right.
I imagine the makeup effects weren't all that extreme.
Yeah,
but
and
man, she was freaky.
And she's only gotten skinnier. Not to fucking go on some tangent about her, but that movie with Vince Vaughn.
Cell Block 99.
She's got to weigh like 62 pounds.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, man. All right. Anyway.
All right, Lair. So what do you got? Give us some of the things you want to go over real quick. I want to know what you won't watch, what you think.
Well, so I had some also rants, crazies like Lloyd said, Maniac.
That was good.
See, I never
Yeah.
saw the new Maniac.
Oh, it's
It was
so
good.
good. Different, so totally different.
It's shot from a first person perspective.
Right.
The only time you actually see Elijah Wood is in reflections and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll only give you a couple that weren't mentioned. Cat People.
Yeah.
Big fan. Cape Fear. Big fan of De Niro's.
We just listed the other three
John
that I
doesn't
didn't
like
mention.
Sir John does not like De Niro's Cape Fear.
Sir John has a man crush on Robert Mitchum, so
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Mitchum's great. Mitchum's great in the original. No doubt about it.
That remake,
I love Counselor.
I just
fucking love him.
It's so I don't know. I love that original. I don't know.
It's great. The original is great. But there was just something about the way De Niro. I don't know. I thought De Niro was fantastic. I don't know. I love Bobby. I love Bobby De Niro. That's
Jerry. Hello.
I think that's it for ones.
Is that the one where Juliette Lewis is like 14 and sucking his thumb?
Yeah.
That's weird. All right.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So for the not a remake category, I made sure to put Evil Dead and The Thing. That these are not remakes.
Right.
These are fucking sequels. Worst horror remakes that I've seen that I'll never fucking bother watching again. Rob Zombie's Halloween, The Omen, Poltergeist, Pet Cemetery, Psycho, Let Me In, Friday the 13th, Carrie, and Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are the
I
ones
actually kind of liked the Friday the 13th one.
You know, it's just a fucking throwaway movie. Like, you're like, okay, since when does Jason take fucking prisoners? When does he take hostages?
Yeah.
He had a hostage.
Well, she looked like his mom. He wanted to he's like, I miss my mom.
that entire list, other than Zombies, Halloween, and shit, I think one other film, I haven't seen any of them.
They're bad. The Omen was. First of all, The Omen's a great fucking. I love the whole three. The first three. I never saw 4. There's like a rebirth one.
I saw it. Yeah,
I never saw it. But the first 3 to me, I love them. Sam Neill in Final Conflict is fucking great.
Yep.
I don't know. There's no reason. Poltergeist remake.
Yeah.
They literally took the scariest PG movie of all time, made it R and unscary.
Oh, jeez.
Was that
No
Sam
interest
Rockwell?
in seeing that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah.
I like him.
Poltergeist, I don't, it's a little aged, but it's a straight PG movie.
Right.
And has terrifying parts. Corpses popping out of fucking everywhere, trees eating kids. And they fucking took it and just made it completely unscary. It's just completely not scary. Let Me In is basically a shot-for-shot remake of Let the Right One In, but in English.
Psycho. That's
just
the
watch
other one.
Let the Right
Psycho.
One In.
Well,
Dude, I just watched an interview. I just watched an interview with Joe Dante where he was talking about Psycho 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, 2 and 3 are fucking leagues better than the remake. And somebody's like, well, why? He's like, well, it's a shot-for-shot remake. Yeah. He's like, they made the same exact fucking movie with different people. And he's like,
color.
He goes, well, I heard the reason that they decided to make it was because kids these days won't watch a black and white movie. And he goes, you know what I say? Fuck them.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you go, Joe Dante.
The only difference that I remember in that movie, other than being in color, is the scene where he's watching her, he's jerking off.
Also, you get to see the butthole of Anne Heche.
Oh,
that's like when she falls down, I think you see her butthole.
Oh, do you get a little bunger?
I think you'll get a little brown eye.
Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres has seen that as well. God. If you remember that, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, she has.
All right, Larry. What are your? So those were your I don't like. What are your? I'm not going to watch.
April Fool's Day. Either of them. I think they made 2 Black Christmas remakes. No Time.
Yep.
They made a Day of the Dead remake that I will not give my time to.
Yeah.
I will not give my time to the Fog remake. I spit on your grave. Remake.
But John said the sequel to the remake was better than the original.
I do not celebrate the I Spit on Your Grave.
You can see the sequel to it.
The Martyrs remake. No fucking way. Last House on the Left. Prom Night. Stepfather. Suspiria. Which I don't even like. I don't even really like Suspiria, but I won't even entertain the fucking remake.
And it's also like 3 hours long.
Hey, you know what show needs a remake?
What?
The Stuff.
Larry Cohen. God bless him.
I enjoyed
God bless
that.
his heart.
I'm serious. I'm just glad that Suspiria didn't make any of our lists, because that remake.
So you watched it?
I did.
I didn't. I won't bother.
Because
I don't. Like I said, I don't even really. I know this is like fucking horror blasphemy. I don't really like Suspiria.
Yeah.
Because I've watched it like 12 times and I still don't get it. Call me stupid, call me whatever you want. Every time I'm watching it, I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah. You know what's funny about that is I saw Suspiria as a kid, like teenager, and I was like, what the fuck was that? I don't get it.
It's beautiful. It's a beautifully shot movie. Beautiful.
So maybe me and Lloyd were at the archive one day.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of the guys. I don't know if it was Brandon or James, maybe one of the guys that works there or runs the place. And we were talking about movies, and somehow Suspiria came up. And I said, I saw that when I was a kid, didn't enjoy it. And whoever I was talking to was like, yeah, it's garbage. Like, which is amazing, because like it seems like most horror fans are like, oh, Suspiria is like fucking top level.
Right.
You know,
that's how you like you flex your fucking horror muscles by talking about how incredible Suspiria is, and you must be stupid if you don't like it because you just don't understand it. That's fine. I'll be stupupid then.
Yeah,
because
I'll be stupid.
Yeah, I don't like I said, it's gorgeous. It really is. It's one of those.
There are better movies.
Argento, I'll watch fucking Deep Red. I'll watch a lot of Argento stuff over Suspiria.
Yeah.
Guy's a brilliant filmmaker, but I just don't I don't personally like it. So, and I'm not going to entertain the remake of it. Nope.
I'll say this: if you think the original is confusing, that remake is way out there.
Isn't Chloe Moretz in that too?
Yeah.
She's like a horror remake. I love Chloe Moretz. Kick-Ass is fucking fantastic.
Sure.
But she was in Let Me In. She was
Carrie.
in Carrie.
Yeah.
She's in Suspiria. Like she's like the horror remake fucking goddess, I guess. I didn't realize that was her. I guess that's her thing.
That's her.
I also won't watch the Hitcher remake, which I heard is actually good. But
did they remake that?
They did, and I heard it's actually good. But I won't do it.
Is there a finger in the French fries in this one or no?
You know what? I don't know if there is, but if it's Rutger Hauer, and I don't need anybody else to try to fucking do that role.
We got a simple rule here at Pint of Comics. There's a couple rules. Number one, listen to us weekly. Podcast, you're listening to it now every week. On Sunday nights, go to wesufm.org, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., and listen to us there. And rule number 3 is if it doesn't have C. Thomas Howell in it, I'm not watching the fucking remake, all right? That's the third rule of Pint of Comics.
So it wasn't Rutger Hauer that did it for you. It was C. Thomas Howell.
I need my soul, man.
Yeah, Killer Donuts. You can watch Killer Donuts.
For the Manster, say see ya, Manster.
See ya, Manster.
Sir John, say see ya, Sir John.
I'll say see ya.
Scary Larry, say see ya to the people out there.
See ya.
Don't forget to go to www.Connecticut Cult Classics and check out Larry's stuff. And hopefully,
don't tell my wife that you've seen my stuff.
Yeah, right. Two things. Don't tell his wife that you've seen his stuff, and don't tell her what kind of salad dressing you use because she's gonna fucking ignore it.
Don't share a salad with my wife. You will not enjoy it.
Crunchy ass, dry motherfucking salad. Pint of Comics, we're out. See ya.
Yep.
Bye.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.